It's the Cutting Corner podcast, hosted by your resident Catboy Keo, where we talk about video editing tips, tricks, and tactics to stay up to date in the competitive content creation world. Here with me today is an incredibly talented video producer from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, editor for your favorite YouTube projects like Cold Ones, Mogul Money, creators like Clint Stevens, and star of his own Twitch stream on twitch.tv/Prezo. It's Dave, aka Prezo. Welcome to the show, Prezo.
Yes, baby. Thank you for having me, Keo, friend and editor.
What is up, man? I hope you've been well.
I've been super well. I've just been coasting. I've been, like you said, I've been streaming. I've been tweeting a lot. I've just been keeping my brain busy. This is the most like typical Prezo month so far that I've had in my life.
Okay, well that's interesting because I was gonna eventually get into what makes a day of Prezo a day of Prezo. So
okay,
great. Yeah, just keep that in the back of your head. So where do I begin with you? You are a bit of an enigma in the editing space, I feel.
Right.
You have been around for quite a long time in terms of content creation, getting bigger in scale over the last several years. And you've managed to progressively move up with different clientele, and I feel like it's something that not a lot of editors accomplish. A lot of editors will dither off into other things that editors tend to do.
Yeah. Joining
real, quote unquote, real production teams and things like that. But not many of us stick to YouTube, so to speak, over
right.
however many years it's been now. God, we've been editing a while.
Yeah.
So you started fairly young, right? Editing?
Yeah, I think at like 18, but like editors now are like 12, so it's, you know.
Right.
But yeah, compared to now I'm 24, so it's been a while.
If you started when you were 18, what's the sort of content that you were watching around that time?
I was obsessed with whoever I was watching on Twitch, really.
Okay.
Like, I mean, that's why I started editing for Clint, was because I was so obsessed with Clint. And my mindset with just doing anything really at the time anyway, now it's like, it's a shitty mindset. But at the time I was like, whatever I'm spending a bunch of time doing, I should at least make money from it. Like,
right.
In high school, I wanted to go back and watch like all of the Wind Waker Game Grumps videos. And I was like,
oh, sure. Yeah.
That takes like way too much time, and like I've got like homework to do, and I've got like a job. I'm just gonna make a video out of it. I'm gonna make a compilation video, which got like 4 million views. And I was like, well, that was a good, I actually like used that time well. I just wanted to watch some Wind Waker. So that's always been my mindset. So what I was watching at that time, 18. Yeah, a lot of Twitch streamers. Speedrunning. I loved speedrunning.
Yeah, speedrunning has been a big part of my content watching since I was around that age as well. And I think Clint was probably one of the first people that really made me, I guess, dig my toes into it a bit more and really see what it's all about. So yeah, shout out Clint.
I was watching a bunch of like Narciso Wright at the time, a little bit of Siglemic, just the goats of that time, I guess.
Sure, yeah. Were any of those channels that you watched, their YouTube videos specifically, did you ever look towards those channels for editing inspiration, or was this strictly just the content that you were consuming?
Yes. Inspiration, even like, I watched a bunch of Recful at the time as well. Okay. Recful was huge. Like Recful's YouTube videos, like I feel like Recful's YouTube was kind of like now it's like very quick cuts and like whatever on YouTube. But at the time it was really just like, if you missed the stream, just watch this. It'll have like pretty much it'll have like pretty much every time Recful talks. So that's what I wanted to do with Clint when I started with Clint Stevens.
Gotcha.
Another inspiration was the video from Narciso Wright called "I Am Not Siglemic," and which is a classic. It was just like she was just it was just her trying to do 120 speedrun for the first time without having played Sumar 64 ever or something.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on screen for people that are watching the video.
It's so good. It's such a good video. I don't know if it's still up, but it's good. That was an inspiration for me and Recful.
Cool. So moving back to Clint really quick, you said that Clint specifically, you wanted to boil down into digestible content instead of hours and hours and hours of long streams.
Yes.
Did you approach him with the idea to cut down his VODs, or were you approached because he was looking for an editor?
Dude, I just wanted to make shit for him. Like I just randomly made like banners for like under his stream, and like I had like a fan page for him that was like kind of trolly. I could could maybe give you like screenshots of that if I could. Oh no, it got suspended. Fuck.
Oh no, lost media now.
Yeah, it got suspended, but I may have screenshots.
Okay.
So yeah, so like I'm just a big fan of whoever I'm or whoever I'm watching. At the time, he was like, oh yeah, I'd like to make YouTube videos, because I don't know, he just wanted to make sure. He didn't really know what to do, and no one really knew what to do. And I was just like, I made this Game Grumps video one time. I'll make a couple videos for you. And no one really had editors at the time, so I wasn't expecting a pay or anything. I was just like, I'll just make shit. It's watching your stream. I do that fucking every night. I spend 8 hours a night just watching your stream anyway. Might as well spend a little bit of that time just like creating content for you, helping you grow, maybe. Like, I don't know how YouTube works.
Yeah, it was very much the Wild West in terms of content being made on YouTube from Twitch. Like, no one had the formula down just yet.
Yeah, I was just doing anything. And I still had like the mindset of like Reckful. So whenever he played like Breath of the Wild, I was like, I gotta wait a little bit because I'm so backed up and I want everything to be in order. I want all the videos to be in order so people don't get confused. So people can just, you know, if they're like a week behind on streams, they can just watch 7 videos and they know what, you know, whatever. I don't know. It was really weird. It wasn't YouTube-y at all. I didn't have like views in the mind. I was just thinking like, I need these people to make sure that they're caught up.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I think you very much were one of the pioneers of VOD cuts, so to speak, on YouTube, and really making that something that's profitable. And it's been transformed into something really differently lately, which I'm sure you're hyper aware of in terms of like making content for YouTube based around a stream. And I know that might sound strange to some people, but like, let's say, for example, there's this guy that I like to watch. I found him through YouTube. I had no idea who he was on Twitch, but I found him on YouTube. His name is Professor Lando. I didn't know who he was on Twitch. I had never heard of him before, but his YouTube game is really, really incredible. Like, he'll make a stream doing basically what is like improv comedy, but he'll do things like explaining furries 101, right? And he does it all improv in front of a whiteboard like a professor would, right? He'll kind of like pick up the vibes off of chat on like where, you know, they might want to go to the next talking point. So like maybe they're talking about furries and they're leaning in towards like, you know, weebs or something like that, right?
Okay.
What he'll do is reshape the content onto YouTube as Furries 101 explained. And it's framed as if it was like, you know, you think you're about to watch like a 20-minute pre-written piece of content that someone's like done commentary over, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's actually just a Twitch stream. And I've noticed that's so much more common now on YouTube, where people will say like, you know, beating Super Mario 64 with inverse controls or something like that, but it's actually a Twitch stream. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so much more you can do with it now, and people are realizing the potential of combining, you know, both Twitch and YouTube. But back then, what year was this that you were editing? I think 2016, 17?
It started like 2016 a little bit, but like very consistent 2017, which wasn't even like that long ago, really.
Thinking about it now, sure.
Yeah, like that whole thing, like how it changed. It's very much, I mean, just normal YouTubers do this as well, which is they just think of a cool title and immediately they're like, let's just make a video around that title.
Right, which sounds insane thinking about it now. I can't imagine even attempting that 5 years ago on YouTube, but now it's commonplace.
It just seems like just saying it out loud, especially like at the time, may seem kind of like sellouty and like fake or whatever, but it's like it's good content, and as long as the content is like, you're not being fake, it's just like, you know, people like views, and you know, you want 100,
you have to appease the algorithm.
You want 100 million subscribers like Mr. Beast? Well, you gotta low-key do that.
Right. I feel like the standards were also incredibly different back then. I want to say like from 2015 to 2017, people were like comfortable on YouTube at like maybe 100 to 250K subs. But now it's like, if you're not at 500,000, you know, you're not eating. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Barely
to me.
anyone.
And that's obviously not true in the literal sense, but it's crazy to think that there's so much content out there now that the demand, or rather the bar, is set so high for content's virality, rather. versus, quality and it just being shared around and that being the reliable source. It's interesting to think about, but
and if you check like the titles from like back then, it was just like, this is what you'll get in the video. Like, I don't know what to call this. Just, if you wanted to see like a media share donation video, that's going to get the most amount of views because it's just called media share donation video or something. It's like, yeah, I'll watch that. Now it's like, I mean, even now, like the Clint Stevens videos, they're not super clickbaity because Clint doesn't do shit in the streams anyway. He just plays the game. You can't really clickbait anything. You just kind of have to deal with, oh, he said the spoon story again, so we'll call this spoon story video. I don't know.
Yeah, the most you could do with Clint, I feel, is maybe like sister reveal, and that's something you can do once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like now she doesn't even want to be on the streams anymore, which is right. That's fine. That makes totally sense.
When you started creating content for Clint, and presuming you reached out to him, was that really the start of your quote unquote freelance career?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I didn't even like see it as like a job. Really, I was just like, oh, this is extra money while I'm in college.
Right.
It's kind of like the same thing as like, I don't know, like having a donation button under your stream. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like, oh, I get money from this, I guess. And then I realized like, oh, people are getting editors, and I was seeing a lot of YouTubers in like Clint's size just like getting some like editors. All they really did was go in the top clips from the last like 7 days or something and make a compilation from that. And I was like, dude, I will edit for you. And I did this for SimpleFlips.
Shout out SimpleFlips. Let's go.
Who does I edited for SimpleFlips for a little bit, who does these Super Mario 64 ROM hacks videos and streams and all that, and he does a bunch of other shit, but that's like the main thing that I love doing. He was just like, oh, here's like a bunch of clips that you can use, and I was like, I'm not gonna use the clips, I'm just gonna download your VOD, I'm gonna make a video out of that. It's only gonna take like 6 hours or something. I mean, that's a shift. And he was like, dude, you're an insane person. I was like, no, I'm not. No.
Yeah. Now we're seen as specialists, editors that go through VODs and cut through VODs.
Yeah. Which, like, I don't know, maybe for later SimpleFlips editors, I made their lives harder, but it's like, I made the videos better. And I think with that, and I think that influenced a lot of YouTubers to do this, because a lot of people were just doing clip compilations at the time. I think those are boring. I really do. I do not care. Unless you're like really interesting. But like usually people don't clip like good things that much.
I've had my share of edits where I do clip compilations, so to speak, where they specifically ask me to use clips.
Yeah.
And those are really hard to drag out to like 7 or 8 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Which is usually the minimum. So I would much rather, like you, download a VOD and just hack away at it,
Which like now for me these days that would be harder, just because I feel like I've lost my sense of focus for that long. But yeah. I mean, I still have to do that for cold ones. It's just like I have to be like, okay, today I do absolutely nothing but go through this footage. Right. I don't know if I could go back to Clint and like do that like every single day. I like the one video a week.
You would have to be getting paid more, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
I say a lot that I wouldn't go back to editing X by Z, but I feel like today, when we realize that we have to keep a roof over our head, like everyone has a price. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
it's true.
There was a point where I was like, oh, I'm never gonna, edit Minecraft or Roblox or whatever, just because it's like soul draining or whatever. And there was like this weird sort of, I don't want to say, moral. No, not moral. What's the word? You think you're too superior for something, or you're too good for something.
You're above it.
But you have no idea, what life's gonna throw at you. So don't write anything.
No, yeah. Well, thankfully, it's not. I'm getting decent money now compared to what I did before.
Right, and that's another huge topic to unfold, and I don't want to go there just yet. But
yeah.
The whole subject of pay is, I think, very polarizing in the editing community, because it really depends on what pocket you're talking to.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that editors that cut down things like VODs and stuff like that, they're very much more demanding that they're paid, a decent rate, something above what's considered minimum wage over here in America, because it's a skill, right? It's a trade skill.
Right.
But at the same time, there's other editors that do things like montages or vlog edits or things like that, right? And they kind of have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for a nefarious reason, but they don't see their time, no one in specific, or no one in particular, but I've seen a lot of opinions thrown around those pockets of editing where they don't feel editing is as worth the money as we deem it's worth, which is kind of strange because I feel like all editors should be moving along that track slowly but surely. And it's not even that we're like trying to move a goalpost or anything. It's more that like we've realized that this is like a job that we want to keep and do and continue to do.
Yeah.
And for us to secure that, we need to make sure that like we can have reliable income, which for a lot of teenagers and young adults is rare. So
I think I think a lot of like VOD editors and stuff like that just have like access to all these YouTubers income, really, and they're like, dude, making at least this amount, really. Because VOD editors usually a lot of the time daily uploads, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the YouTuber's getting like a good fucking chunk of change for it,
right?
Compared to I don't know, this isn't even like that much on topic, but like animators probably.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's always been a problem, right? Animators get like no money for like any, because animation takes like way more time, which sucks because if you just spend less time to make longer videos, you just make more money. So it's like there's no
well, exactly.
But that's age old, I guess, fucking discussion. But it's annoying
for YouTube at least. Yeah. I was gonna say the whole animation on YouTube has been a debacle, I think, since probably like 2012. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like I think once YouTube made the switch over to, oh, you don't get paid by views anymore. You get paid just in ad revenue. You know what I mean? That was the tipping point for those poor animators. That's why they've all migrated to Newgrounds and just post passion projects for the most part. But
which is crazy because I feel I always saw Newgrounds as a very 2009 thing, and then people moved to YouTube, kinda. So now they're back. Oh, you know what I love from Newgrounds? The Real Legend. I don't know if that's like at all like a really, any listeners out there, check The Real Legend. That's maybe the first thing I've ever watched on the internet ever is The Real Legend, which is just like an animation of Link in like the Forest Temple or something. It's so good. That's where I feel like the first things that you watch on the internet in your life, it may kickstart the rest of like what you find humorous, what you find funny.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing animations like this on Newgrounds that were Smash related.
Oh yeah,
those were like super apparent.
Yeah.
But they were, obviously fun to watch. That was a completely different era. I have a feeling that the demographic listening to the podcast now is gonna have no idea what Flash animations even are. Rest in peace Adobe Flash.
Dude, yesterday I was thinking I should download Animate and just do like these 2-frame animations for my stream. I think that could be so cute. Even though Animate is probably like way, there's like way better options. I don't know. I have it, so I might as well.
Right. I was gonna say, if you have the Master Suite, then you might as well go for it.
Yeah, fuck it.
What would you make? This is off topic, of course, but what would you make?
Dude, I've been drawing like anything. I started drawing on Photoshop, and I was like, I don't like doing 2-frame animations on Photoshop. It's just like, I don't know, my mom drinking tea or something. It's really just that for like little notifications for whenever someone subs, and I'll make like 50 of those over time.
Okay.
And they can like just swap between them or some shit. Just something to look at. I don't know, just to make my stream look kind of cute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm like a sub 10 Andy on Twitch, and I still put hours and hours into little pop-ups and notifications and shit. So it's a lot of fun when you're an editor,
Something I think NMP Law said the same thing, but people are always like, I upgraded my mic and people are like, dude, people kind of like shitty mics. And I'm like, I know. But like a part of what's fun is seeing your shit kind of get better.
Yeah, no, of course.
As long as you don't become too pompous or like kind of a piece of shit about it, then it's fun to just like, because I also got like a really nice camera, but I'm too lazy to set it up. But it's gonna happen. I'm like way too lazy for like anything, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna look nice, and people are gonna be like, oh, I kind of miss the cam. It's like, I don't. Okay, let me live.
Sure. Obviously, I don't think anyone plans on doing their career forever and ever, but if you were to ever move away from video editing, do you feel it would be in pursuit of your own content, like on Twitch or elsewhere?
Yeah, I think I would need to keep like video editing my own shit and maybe do a couple things for other people, because that is still maybe my main creative outlet is into like little memes in After Effects. That's what I know that I'm the best at, really.
Of course.
Cold Ones is just like kind of in an all-time high, and if it keeps this momentum, I'm gonna hate quitting it for my own thing, because I don't know, it's just like being a part of such a big thing is nice. And I think what's fun about streaming right now is the lack of pressure of anything.
Yeah, 100%. Super agree.
While I hate the amount of pressure that sometimes I get from Cold Ones, it's like it's good pressure. It you know, it's a job.
Keeps you on your toes.
Like the reason why like streamers are depressed sometimes, I mean, I'm no therapist, but streamers will kind of live in their work, you know? I mean, we do to some extent as well, but at least I can be like, okay, I'm done editing. I'm just going to take a walk and then go back to my computer. And now I'm no longer in my work area. I'm in my streaming area, which like, I don't care about if I get like no money, because I get a decent amount of money from Cold Ones, but it is still extra money and whatever. If I get like, you know, $1 million donation, then maybe I got to rethink everything. But yeah, no, I think the lack of pressure is so nice. Even if I become like a 2,000 viewer person, maybe then I'll have to again rethink everything. But like, I kind of like the idea of just, you know, sometimes, you know, I'm not gonna stream for 5 days and it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay, so you would say that if anything was going to pull you away, it would be streaming, because you enjoy that as much as you do editing?
I would say so. I like the idea that it's two different things and the amount of pressure is completely different, but I do enjoy them both as much. But again, the pressure does take away a little bit from the editing.
Right.
So, yeah.
When you talk about stress with your work, with Cold Ones specifically, what was it like moving countries for an editing gig?
It's so stupid because I had no idea what I was doing, and like I had like trouble with my visa. I was doing everything like so last minute. I was just like, I don't know, I don't want to be in this apartment anymore that much.
Yeah, can you fill everyone in that isn't aware of that whole situation, like you're moving?
Yeah, so I was in Ottawa, and then Chad at some point from Cold Ones, after like only like a month of editing for Cold Ones, he was just like, hey, come to Australia, because he's always had this vision of like a big office with a bunch of employees and stuff, you know, like a cool office with like a slide kind of and shit, where everyone's drunk, I guess. He's wanted that, so he was just like, I'm gonna kickstart it by getting Prezo from Canada to Australia. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't even mind. It might only be like a 6-month thing, but let's just try it out. And I did it for some reason. It was fun, it was a good idea, and I wish I was still there, but I don't know how I decided in my mind, like, yeah, that's a good idea so easily. I think it's just because I was like, oh, how old was I guess I was 20.
Okay, so that's still pretty young.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, or 21, one of those. But so I was like, I don't know, like I'm gonna come back when I'm like 24, 25, and I still have like a whole lot. Like I have so many options right now, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go to Australia. It could be a waste of a year, but you can waste a year at that age.
Yeah, you can waste years away until you're like 35.
Yeah,
don't panic.
Absolutely. So I landed there. The country burst into flames.
Right.
So we can't even like go outside. You know, everyone's scared. You know, my family is like, oh Jesus, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then COVID happens, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah, just one thing after another. So is COVID what brought you back to Canada, or was it more so?
It was like, I think I would have stayed in Australia if it weren't for my mom being like, dude, you have to come back. Like, I am so worried for you. And I was like, you know what? That is the most okay thing for you to say.
Sure.
Because it's like, you know, you are my mom, and I did just go to, like, she was already like, oh, I don't want you to leave. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, my career, whatever. And it's like, I'm not even I'm just working at home anyway in Australia. And my mom's like, I'm worried sick. I don't want you to be stuck in Australia. And I'm like, I don't want you to die from, you know, a heart attack because
fire or COVID. Or...
Right. So I'm like, sure, I'll come back. And it was sad because I go back to Canada and like Australia has like 0 cases for like 6 months. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's awesome. Yeah. And now North America is in flames. So that's great.
Yeah. But Australia is also doing like the whole world's doing bad now. So I think I'm fine just being at home.
Sure. No, of course. That's good. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, your mom's at ease.
Yeah,
now,
no, me
least.
too. And like, it's better for taxes anyway, so it's fine.
That's fair as well, yeah. So what was, not necessarily in Australia specifically, but just you as an editor, what was it like learning how to do your taxes? Because no one holds your hand through this shit. There's no guidebook to,
I still have, like, every year is such a challenge because I like relearn, and I'm like, I just guess my way through it, and then there's an amount in the end that I owe, and I'm like, I'll just give them that. I don't even want to think about it. That shit, it's
stressful. Yeah.
There's like a lot of shit that you have to keep track of, and sometimes I'm just like, I'll just forget it, man. I'll just pay the extra amount. There's so many receipts I have to look for, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can write this off. Do I? Like, I'll just feel bad if I actually can't.
Yeah, we won't get into it this episode. I'll save it for, someone who's a bit more antiquated with their taxes.
maybe in tax season, so everyone's in the mood.
That's true. It's a good idea.
Yeah. The tax episode.
I still owe the IRS $200 something, I think, because I'm on a payment plan for mine.
Oh, I see.
I went with the lump sum thing, and they were like, okay, well, you're just gonna owe us this much. And I was like, all right. So I put $1,000 down back in December or the month before, and now I just got to pay the rest off. So
well, that's not.
It's
bad.
a pain,
that's
but you got to make sure you do it. No, it's not bad at all. But I also didn't. I made jack shit last year, so
yeah. This is so stupid. Like I had like the best year last 2020 at that point. So it like hit me like a truck. I was like, oh shit, that means I pay like more taxes, and that like fucked me up. And now I'm like, every time I get like a huge amount of money for like a video, I'm like, Jesus Christ, can you not? That just means I have to pay like way more later.
Right, it's something ridiculous, like 15 or 20% of your overall income.
Yeah,
that's insane to me.
I think in Canada it's actually it's maybe worse.
Pretty lax. Oh really in Canada it's worse.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's fine. It's all good. I won't complain too much about taxes. I have it okay.
Yeah, there are worse ways to make money and then have to fill out taxes.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure.
So out of all the edits that you've done over the years, is there one that you think you're absolutely the most proud of, that you go to when someone says, show me your best video? You know what I mean? Like, what's the thing that sticks out in your mind?
I always think I do, and then like I haven't watched it in a while, and then I watch it again. I'm like, this shit sucks, man. So I'm a huge fan of like the last like 6 months of the Clint videos that I made. Mario Maker, those last like Super Mario 64. I was on the top of my game with VOD editing.
I agree.
When I switched to cold ones and I only did cold ones, it's like that was like, the most flawed videos I've ever made in my life.
Well, it's a whole different vibe.
It's a whole different vibe. It's multicam shit. I had no idea how to deal with it. It was just so, and like, they want like these like hyper edits and shit, and I didn't really know how to do that, and I was trying really hard to be funny. So again, I would say like the last like few months of the cold ones videos have been amazing. I would say the best video I've edited was the last Christmas one, which was only like a month ago. I would say that's probably my best. I worked really hard on that one. It was very different than anything else I've ever done. I made like a bunch of cool transitions. What sucks is that the last like 8 minutes of that video are just like I had to make in like 2 hours because they were like, we kind of want this out tonight, and I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah, that's something you run into a lot as an editor, I feel, which sucks, but it happens.
Which kind of ruined the video for me, but that's okay.
No, I hear you. It sucks because like you can tell when you look back and you just see the thumbnail of the video that you worked on, and you're immediately presented with how you feel about the experience you had editing it right then and there. Like if the thumbnail makes you like curl your toes back.
Yeah. There's the most popular cold ones video is tasting the world's strongest alcohol or something, and they go from like 45%, which is just like typical, to like 97% alcohol. And it's just like, they try like 10 of these. And it's such a good video. But I completely fucked the color correction.
Oh, gotcha.
So like the roving camera and the main camera are like, one of them, like Max's shirt is orange and the other one it's red. And it's like, oh, Jesus. Like, why didn't I fix it? I don't know. My brain was in like another spot. I don't even know how to explain myself really, because it's so disgusting to look at.
Was it, I don't want to say rushed, but was it, was there a time crunch on that particular video, if you remember?
At the very end, but really what made me not be able to fix it is just like, if I want to make like any type of cool edit, I, you know, use the dynamic link that Premiere and After Effects have, and they're amazing. And what that does is, and then I render those out after I'm done doing the video. So that just has to stay the same. So at the end of like the video editing process, I can't really work on color correction because it's going to be so inconsistent. I should have anyway. You just can't change the color correction on like the After Effects edits you've already done. Unless you can, and I'm like stupid.
You'd have to take the fully rendered video and then cut the clips that are incorrect and then just color correct those to match the other ones.
Yeah, which like I'm already so bad at color correction that I don't even want to fuck with that too much. Like I think I tried and I was just like, this looks way uglier, and I was just like, I've got like 5 hours left. I can just make some banging edits instead. I'll just do that. I guess
you didn't need to be a colorist to make this a good video.
No, no. And like you'll probably like watch the video a little bit and you'll be like, yeah, this is actually kind of fucking painful. Like editors in the comments are like, dude, Prezo's not like that great. Now that I think about it, I was like, oh shit, I'm like losing respect for these editors.
Oh no,
but that's okay. That's fine. I've learned from it.
I don't think that anyone really has a right to judge any particular editor just because you never know what the time crunch is behind any given project. You know,
that's true.
Or their limited capabilities. Like, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, this edit kind of sucks, but like, I don't know, they might just be, you know, only have access to iMovie for all I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try not to pass judgment like that. I think the one time that I can think of that had like, or a video that I watched that had like an insane editor backlash, so to speak, because it was so different from what the people were used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is probably when Noah Samson came on to. I'm trying to remember the video. It was, I can't remember if it was on Cody or Noel's channel, but
dude, I fucking loved that edit so much because I was like, this is my type of shit. This is my type of shit. And I immediately said to Scott, dude, if we ever need another editor, let's get him. And he actually did stuff for Maxmofo Gaming.
That's right. Yeah, I am aware of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, the comments on this fucking video are insane. They're so weird. It doesn't even take away from the content that much, you know. Like I understand if you think it does, because that's what people felt about like the first Mogul Money.
Right. Well, Cody and Noel specifically, their humor carries the content a lot.
Yeah.
So to have someone come in and like add a lot of editing, to add on to that, it's a bit much, I guess, at first.
I get that.
Yeah, and I get it, but the backlash was just too much. Like I was surprised.
And you know what? I guess you need that type of backlash to know what people think, I guess,
to what your audience actually likes. Yeah,
but it's like, you know, you gotta not change the content that people are that mad about for like a couple episodes, and if people are still mad at it, then it's like, okay, they might have
they got used to it incredibly quick.
Of
like
course.
Now it's like the iconic Noel style.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like on the React channel, I had something kind of similar going when I was running that for a couple years. And then when Noah came along and he started doing the videos that were more catered alongside, like, here's some weird ass TikToks I found, or, you know, content like that, Noah developed his own style. And any little sound effect or any little minor edit that he does, I'm like, Noah classic. That's a good one. So, I mean, I'm sure you've had that effect on cold ones before as well, where, you know, you have a signature thing that you like to do and people are like, classic Prezo. That's a good one.
I mean, yeah, if I ever like do a little thing for someone else, people are like, dude, the first 5 seconds I knew this was Prezo because I don't know. I made someone's head bigger or something for absolutely no reason. Sometimes I just do that. I don't know why. I just make people's hands bigger.
There's an art to unhinged editing, I think, if we want to call it anything. But I don't know. I think it's really special, and there's not a lot of people that do it quite like you. So I think you're incredibly talented, and that the fact that you're able to continuously come up with, you know, new crazy ideas for every piece of content that you put out. You know, sure, the methodology behind some of the edits can be similar, but like they're still brand new edits every single time. And you've been editing for half a decade. You know what I mean? That's a long ass time to be doing creative work, especially one that's like more of like a technical level and you're not working with like a canvas. You already have, you know, some paints on the canvas. You have to just shape it into something.
Yeah. What I can be happy about is I think a creative edit is better than just like showing off, you know, like
Sure.
an edit or like a funny edit. Although combining a funny edit and showing off is probably just going to make your video like 100 times like better if like there's a bunch of these and that don't like take away.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think at the start of Cold Ones, I was just either I had to like pick between like, a funny edit or showing off, which like either it just seemed like, oh, the editor's trying to take over, or like the editor's low-key just like humor doesn't really clash that well, because I didn't really know Chad and Max that much.
Well, it takes a while to really like fill the shoes.
Yeah.
Like at least a good month at the very least.
Absolutely.
Like, I think I've run into the issue where I'm not sure if I'm like fitting the right, style of edit for the client. And sometimes it's like, make or break, which is fine. But it does take time to get into it, or to get into the shoes of the style that your client wants if they're not explicit with it.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to learn that on your own, because they just assume you can edit and that's a blanket statement, and they just think that, oh, they'll just do it exactly like mine are already. No, I'm very lucky to have clients now that like know exactly what they're looking for in an edit. But sometimes you'll just, you'll get some folks that aren't really sure what they want, or they just want you to do it how they're currently done. And if they're not sure how it is done, you have to reach out to their current editors or their previous editors to get a grasp on that. So that can be weird. But
it was insane. Like the new Clint Stevens editor, when he came on, a lot of the comments were like, oh, he's trying so hard to be Prezo. But it's like, who else are you gonna try to be, really? Because
we're all trying to be Prezo.
Especially if you're editing for Clint Stevens.
Sure. Are you talking about
Ooga Pookie?
Wow, is it Ooga Pookie? Okay.
Yeah. They
seem super laid back. I'd love to have them on the podcast.
Especially now, like the new Clinton videos are just, he's found his own thing, and he does his own little quality of life edits, that I didn't do. I don't know if that's the correct term. Just like things to help out the viewer a little bit, understand what the fuck going on, that I never did, because I didn't, I guess I didn't care that much about the viewer, which I should have. Now I feel like with Cold Ones, I add a lot of context with everything, because I was just told, like, dude, can you just add at least the photo that they're fucking talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
Right, exactly. Like, I know, oh god, going through this podcast edit and throwing up every single video that we've already talked about is going to be a pain in the ass, but it'll be worth it, because it's going to make a nice video podcast.
I think that does make it a lot better, honestly.
Yeah, so with all the editing that you've been doing, and it being very visual heavy, and not necessarily like your pacing isn't necessarily the star of the show. It's more so what you can do with your After Effects canvas.
Yeah.
I mean? Like, is there anything in particular that you think has been super valuable to you in saving you time? Because a lot of the edits you do, on the outside at least, seem very, very time hungry.
You know what I need to like start doing is
making presets?
Yeah, absolutely.
we all do.
Because like Davis started talking about this, and I was like, man, you're totally right that like if you just have like a preset for like everything, you cut your time by like half. And I just
literally,
I'm like not doing that, because I don't know, I'm a stubborn little bitch. To be fair to me, I guess a lot of the edits are completely like I try just
they're different. Yeah.
They're very different. Really, I would need presets in like Premiere. I can't like focus too much. It's like whenever I have to like start thinking when I go through the footage, I'm like, ugh.
Right.
I'm just gonna start watching a little bit of this part of the video while I'm eating spaghetti or something, and then like 2 hours pass and I'm like, oh Jesus, just because I hit a wall for like a second in my edit, now I gotta not sleep tonight. But
right, do you often find yourself jumping around your timeline just to work on different parts of the video?
You know what I do? I don't do that. I usually I don't like giving up on a part until it's done. What I do a lot is I rewatch what I've done like a bunch, mainly just to be like, just to affirm myself that it's a good video. And if like a part is like boring to me, which like after a while shit will be boring to me, because I'm on like my 20th watch. But if it's like overly boring on my 20th watch, then it's like, oh, I probably need to change it, or I need to cut something, which is insane to think about, because sometimes like you watch a Cold Ones video and it's not even like that polished. But yeah, I don't know, there's a charm to it, I guess.
Sure. No, of course.
So I the last thing I'll do in a Cold Ones video is the last edit you'll see.
Okay.
Except for the intro. No, the last thing I do on a Cold Ones video is the intro right at the start. because then I go through everything and I'm like, okay, so what part is like the funniest, whatever.
Right.
Because like the intro is just like a small, tiny little compilation of the video that we're about to watch. So.
All right, so I've got some more laid back questions here for you next. Let's see. What is your go-to Subway order?
Chicken teriyaki. Anyone? Okay. I did like a little bit on my stream where I showed, it actually got on LSF and it got a whopping 60 upvotes. I showed a screenshot of every single time I ordered food last year. And then I did like the total amount and with like dramatic music or whatever. And it, you know, changed screenshots by the beat. And at the end, it showed off the amount that I spent, which was, I think it was $5,300 on ordering food.
That sounds about right for me as well.
Yeah. And people were like, holy fuck, like the amount of chicken teriyaki subs you eat per week is fucking insane, which like completely exposed me. Like sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm like tired of Subway these days. And it's like, we went back to when you said you were tired of Subway and you ate like 6 in the period of like 10 days, dude.
Oh my God.
Like you're not sick of Subway at all. Just do Subway Sundays, you fucking prick.
That's how it came about. Like you had an argument with your chat and Subway Sundays.
No, because I quit Subway Sunday because I was like, oh, I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to not spend too much money on food. And people were like, dude, this is such bullshit, dude. You're not, we could clearly see that you're spending a bunch of money on food.
Okay, gotcha. Chicken teriyaki for those that want to order the Prezzo. Gotcha.
It's good.
What's up with the deer cryptid?
Do you like my profile picture?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I just went through my like image gallery and like someone kept sending me these like cursed deer photos or like just forest photos. My best friend, he would just send me all these and I just used one as my profile picture because I was like, I don't want my profile picture to be me anymore, like my face, because I don't know, I just don't want to look at myself that much. So I just changed it to the deer and I just never changed it. I got a bunch of followers while having that profile picture, so I was like, if I change now, people are gonna be like, who the fuck is this? So I just never did.
Okay, so you kept it for brand consistency. Interesting.
Yeah, but like I didn't make it, you know, I didn't Photoshop it. So I'm thinking at some point, like maybe I'll commission an artist to kind of make like a similar type thing so that I'll at least own the rights to the photo.
Sure. So this question, I think, it's fun, but it's also like you can get it as deep into it as you want to. Would you say that shitposting is like a legitimate brand strategy now for individuals?
Yes, but it's like, it's hard. Like, I think for most people, it's really difficult. And a lot of people will ask me questions like how exactly do you do it? And it's like, really, I've just been following a lot of shit posters on Twitter for like 7 years, you know, who have like 6,000 followers each. And like, you know, you'll see a lot of like they're the people that like you'll like their tweets because, you know, they have like 200,000 likes or something. And they're like, that's fucking clever as hell. I usually click on the profile picture. I go through their tweets and like all their other tweets get like no likes, but they're funny as fuck and they deserve more likes, really. And I just kind of, you know, it kind of just rubs off on me. And just because I have an audience, I get like way too many likes.
I gotcha. So it's not necessarily related to you trying to grow a brand. It's more so
it's actually super separate. Like now I feel like if I don't tweet for a little bit, it's like a little bit stressful because I'm like, you know, people are gonna think that I'm dead or something. No, I for me it's so separate. I feel like I could just quit Twitter and it wouldn't really make that much of a difference for me. It's just, it is nice to be able to like, oh, I have a big stream happening, so I'm just gonna tweet it out and I'm gonna have like a couple hundred more viewers
right
than I would otherwise. Or if I'm, you know, if I want to start a cool new project, I have like, you know, and it all comes from shitposting. A lot of people will have like 200,000 followers, but they don't know how to tweet. Like they got the followers because of like videos or something. So it's, you know, I don't know if shitposting is that important.
No, I wasn't really getting at if it was important or not. It more so that, you know, do you think it can be a viable, you know, strategy to growing a brand?
I think so.
Because of the influx of, you know, followers and outreach you get from just sharing a meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever it is you do, in turn, will get more viewership because of, you know, your actions on Twitter.
Yeah. Also, I don't get shit for anything I say now because people are like, oh, that's just Prezzo, you know?
Right. They've grown old of the formula. I see. Yes,
it's like that's my favorite thing about the idea of me being a shitposter is I could just do anything now. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
I'm my own person. A lot of people know who I am just from my tweets. Don't know me really. They just know Prezo and Deer. Like Miskiff DM'd me at some point and was like, "Can you take over my Twitter for like a month?" And I was like, oh, "Sure," but then he went through a breakup, and that's just so he was like, "Oh, never mind."
Bad timing. Yeah.
So I think it gives you cool opportunities. Yeah, you can just shovel all those followers to. Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking so long about this.
No, by all means.
I want to start YouTube videos. Like that's gonna help. I can just tweet out.
Okay.
I can just tweet out my YouTube video. That's at least, I don't know, like a couple hundred viewers, and that's good enough. That's
no, absolutely, yeah. Especially for just getting started.
Yeah. So,
are you wanting to do stream highlight videos?
Yes,
or are you wanting to do
much,
like
that's pretty much just it. And I might get an editor, and I don't care if it's like not that well edited. It's fine.
You just want a place for your content to live outside of Twitch.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And really, because a lot of the shit on Twitch, and again, this is like the early Clint Stevens mentality that I used to have. A lot of the shit that I do on Twitch, like I'm doing in front of like 200 viewers, and that's cool, but no one's going to be watching that ever again, unless it's in a YouTube video. So I'm like, I just, it's kind of almost a VOD, but a highly edited one. So.
Right. Yeah. I gotcha. All right, so the only thing we have left, I suppose, is the mailbag. So we take questions from Twitter for our surprise mystery guest, who is no longer a surprise mystery guest. You all have been listening for an hour now, so you all know it is very much Prezo. So let's go ahead and read some of these questions. Is that cool with you, man?
Yep.
So we'll just do a handful here.
Sure.
So from analog_shift, they ask, what's your go-to breakfast or lunch if you don't eat when you wake up? Okay, so I'm assuming they mean like when you're on a time crunch or you overslept and you're like, shit, I've got to work in a little bit. What do I eat?
I mean, this could be like any time of the day, but like if I just don't want to make food, which is a lot of the time, and I don't want to order, which is usually my go-to low key.
Yeah.
I eat tortilla chips, usually like a hint of lemon or jalapeno tortilla chips with hummus. So good.
With
perfect.
Hummus.
Love. There's this particular hummus brand that I love. It's called President's Choice. It's only Canadian. I fucking love it. It's so good. Or if I don't want tortilla chips, if I don't have any, I usually have bell peppers. I'll just cut up a bell pepper real quick and I'll eat that with hummus.
Okay. That sounds like a nice snack. I've never had the tortilla chips with hummus.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
From Not Avery Swanson, they ask, if you had to change to a new editing software, what would it be and why?
I mean, if I had to, I think everyone's low-key hopping on DaVinci Resolve. I think anything else would be, I would have to like change to Mac or something. I would love to try Final Cut Pro at some point in my life if I were forced to, for some whatever reason. It could be fun, but yeah, DaVinci Resolve, I'm just very curious about it because a lot of like the Cold Ones Patreon editors use DaVinci Resolve, and I'm like, oh, I can't even like send you Premiere files, I guess. Well, okay.
There's a lot of powerful color correction features in DaVinci Resolve.
I need that.
And it's very basic, so like you can keep your ideas of like how you edit in Premiere and when you transfer over to DaVinci.
Yeah.
So it's not like alien.
Yeah.
And no, it's just very user friendly and it's free. So
it is free, which is insane. There is a paid version as well.
I think it's 300.
Sweet. Well, look at that.
The paid version, I believe, has features. I could be wrong about this, but I think the paid version has features that are basically like plugins for After Effects and stuff like that.
Okay.
But you can just use it within DaVinci Resolve.
That's so sick. All right, I'll switch. You've convinced me.
I know several editors would be very happy to hear more people jumping over. Let's see. Choreo Yeet or Cosmic, they say, y'all ever be watching a video and be like, damn, this is edited really cool. I want to do some of those edits on my next video.
That is a great question. Yeah, well, maybe tiny little things like I can only think of examples, and I'm sure there's millions of examples. But I was watching like a Sinjin Drowning video, which aren't like really crazy edited videos, but Sinjin Drowning being Weston Corey and Kaylin Corey just like playing like Roblox or whatever, and they just do a lot of like sound effects, and I'm like obsessed with just like zoom and sound effects, and I just started doing that. So like I don't think there's like specific edits that I like to steal or whatever. It's just like little quirks, little vibes that I want to incorporate.
Sure, yeah.
I think I mean, way back in the day, I stole from Cow Chop, just like liquefy someone's face, and I've been just using that to death.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Cow Chop was like a big influence.
Yeah. Which now I talk to Trevor a lot, who's, you know, the one that always kept doing that. So I always let him know, bro, when I'm very drunk, bro, you're my biggest inspiration. And he's like, I know, dude.
I know, dude. You told me before. I know.
You drunk ass motherfucker.
That's funny. You know, thinking about it now, when I was, I want to say probably 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
Whenever I was really starting to get into freelancing myself, I was constantly looking at other editors for inspiration, and I would always turn to the Clint Stevens.
Yes.
And it was so funny how, you know, fate brings us here now. That's so funny.
I love that. Also, super random and like super off topic, and I should have said this like maybe like 30 minutes ago. How I got the Cold Ones job was Scott's roommate was a big Clint Stevens fan, and I made an edit where while Clint was doing like a TikTok clock star, I think maybe like 100 coin, his head just slow, like it was just like one long cut. It was like a minute long of just watching him do 100 coins. But while he was doing that, his head just became slightly bigger.
I think I remember this.
And then by the end of the shot, his head was just like really big. That was like
Right.
that was like 6 months before or maybe like a couple months before I started doing Cold Ones. And yeah, he just told Scott. Oh my God, Scott being a quote unquote intern for Cold Ones, even though he's like he like runs the whole thing. And Scott was just like, all right, we'll hire him. Because he did that. So
wow, that's really cool. So that one just fun idea you had got you a job. That's really cool.
Yeah, which I think I did on stream.
Okay,
sometimes I would edit on stream, and I was just like, sometimes just to make my chat laugh, I would just I would make funnier edits than I would have if no one was watching me, which was fun. Yeah. The fun part about editing on stream was just like I was just as creative as possible just to keep my chat entertained. I would love to be able to do that now.
Yeah, me too. That's that's a topic we completely skimmed over. Not being able to stream video edits constrained by NDA.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, I mean, even if there was no NDA, there's a lot of addresses and shit like that, and like cock.
Right.
you know. So
yeah. I should have asked about what it's like editing Chad's genitalia.
It slowed down. Actually, it picked back up recently, but it typically slows down because you can't even really pixelate genitalia anymore on YouTube, or else you get yellow dollar sign. I think it was always that way. It was just now it says clearly while uploading a video, you have to check mark like, oh, there's not even any pixelated cock. And if you don't,
what is it now? Just a black bar, or
no? It's just nothing. We just cut that out. Except sometimes we don't anyway, and hope that it doesn't.
All right. Well, no snitches here on this podcast. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was always curious about that. I've thankfully never had to edit for anyone that just had their junk out all the time.
I edited for SuperMega for a second, and they love showing cock. They love it.
That's great. Well, you know, that's just two bros hanging out, man. That just seems to be the running theme. So Shauna Bun asks, what was the biggest hurdle that you faced when it came to editing a video? So things like a specific edit giving you trouble, software restrictions, inexperience, whatever.
Dude, huge audio troubles in the first Christmas video that we did for Cold Ones. For some reason, like near the end of, this was in 2019, near the end of the whole editing process, just half the audio was like gone.
Oh God.
Like within Premiere, like the files were still there or whatever. I just couldn't fucking figure out so like if you watch the video now, and it was a Christmas video, so you can't just delay it and be like, oh yeah, we'll delay it, we'll try to fix that within the next 2 weeks or some shit. No, it was just I had to upload it with some shit audio, and it's just it's just a really shit video. People love that video though, because the parts that were fixable were funny as fuck. And it would have been a really funny video. If for some reason, like one of the mics just randomly became super echoey. And then I got like too mad and like Scott to like look at it and try to fucking figure it out. And no one could. And it was like, I don't know. So that was at the same time that we got robbed. It was the same time that like some random naked man groped me in the middle of the street. It was just it was just a weird couple of days, man. In the next Prezo episode in 6 months, we'll get to it.
Revisiting Prezo.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, one last question from the mailbag.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from Sucrose. They ask, "Are you gay?"
Yeah.
Why are you gay?
That is a great question.
You are gay. I love that video. That video is so classic.
It's
that
such a good
lives
video.
in my head rent free, man.
You are gay.
You are gay.
Sometimes like people ask me like, why are you gay, as like a joke.
Sure.
And it makes me think like, I don't know anything about the brain. And look, I mean, it's probably totally right that I was born with it, because I think my first thoughts of love were very kind of non-binary. They were just like people, you know. I was just like I was just in love with people. I guess maybe I was raised to. Well, that's not even true. I was gonna say it's like I was raised to
just appreciate people for who they are.
Yeah, but like that's not really true. Maybe like when I started like wearing dresses, my mom was like, "Ah, shit, I gotta fucking do something about this."
Dude, I hear that. I was raised Catholic, and I can't even say that I was, raised that particular way or whatever. But
right.
I still ended up, just loving people for whoever they are. So completely unrelated to editing, but it was in the mailbag. And I only had a certain amount of questions because this shit, I don't know how I want to do this yet.
Yep.
No one knows what the hell the mailbag even looks like right now. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, Prezo, it's been an awesome time having you on the show, man.
It's been super fun.
Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter, Prezo, Twitch, Prezo. Those are the two places I really give a fuck about right now.
Gotcha. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for coming on the show. Maybe we'll have you on sometime down the line. When I burn through every editor that I know.
Yep.
And we're recruiting just, people that I know that passively edit or edited a wedding for their aunt one time, then I'll have you back on.
Yeah, I'll get some friends from my hometown that are like, "Hey, can you give me a job?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I could get you on a podcast, maybe."
That's about it. That's all I got.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Till next week.